knows perfectly well about anacondas. Everyone knows perfectly well about anacondas, cobras, and pythons, but far fewer people have heard about Titanoboa, the largest snake of all time, despite the fact that she lived a very long time ago. More and more evidence began to appear that the supergiant could have survived to the present day. It was photographed in the middle of the last century, filmed quite recently, and recorded even with the help of a satellite. It's worth taking a look at these shots today. I will show you a variety of shots that can prove that the Titanoboa snake is still alive and is among us. Who is Titanoboa? What do you know about Titanoboa? Most do not even know that in the times following the age of dinosaurs, a giant snake lived on Earth, capable of swallowing a whole crocodile in one fell swoop. But even scientists know little about this creature. Based on the found remains, paleontologists were able to determine that Titanoboa, judging by the structure of the skeleton, was a close relative of the boa constrictor. A giant snake lived on the planet about 60 million years ago. Titanoboa is considered to be the largest snake ever to inhabit the Earth. Its length could exceed 15 meters, and its weight reached a ton. The widest part of it in diameter was equal to 1 meter. The oral cavity had a special structure that allowed the snake to swallow prey exceeding its width. The mouth opened almost to a horizontal state, but could it survive to this day because of its coolness? And this species could only live in hot tropical and subtropical climates, and so it was. The fossilized remains of Titanoboa were found on the territory of South America. It's no secret that on this continent, even today, there are places that are difficult for people to reach, where unknown people may well be hiding. Science knows, but has anyone managed to prove that Titanoboa is alive? Let's figure it out together. The author of this photo argues that witnessed the emergence of giant snakes near the island of Borneo. According to the scale on photos, the length is not the monster less than 30 meters, but where it was made, the helicopter or the upper floor the building. Unfortunately, no additional information. The author the pictures are not provided, which allowed skeptics acknowledge frame fake. Surprisingly, the inhabitants of the island of Borneo, there is a legend about the ancient snake, which it often appears in shallow water near the shore, so the superstitious locals were quite convinced by the photo of monstrous snakes. By the way, a mythical giant snake seen in other parts of the island, the locals call monster Nabal. In the legend, everything is a giant 30-meter snake killer head dragon and family for a time, which can take the appearance of other animals. Many the inhabitants of the island say that personally met with Nabalu, and not once. But how to prove such a meeting? 2000 Semnatsat year. The network appeared the new confirmation of the existence of a monster. It all started with the fact that the employees who checked the flood zones during the next flyby of the territory took a picture of the river, more than the first assumption in Photoshop, but the photo was taken by members of the rescue group from a helicopter in the presence of several witnesses. All of them vocally claimed that the snake is in the river. There was another assumption, impressionable passengers who could take part of the pipeline for a monster. But what kind of pipeline can run along the river? And technical experts say that the pipe cannot bend like that. Even local scientists do not deny that the giant snake may be real. Moreover, it seems that nature itself does not allow them to refute its existence. The fact is that quite recently a snake skeleton was discovered on the island, but a 14-meter reptile had such large dimensions that it ate only crocodiles and turtles, swallowing them whole. It is quite possible that Nabal miraculously survived, a distant relative of the prehistoric monster. Even Titanoboa himself, who faces him like a mother, has his own legend about a monstrous snake. And Aborigines from the shores Amazons, as they claim, the snake reaches 50 meters in length. The head of the creature is up to 2 meters wide. What can such a titan eat? If you believe the Aborigines, anything, but in huge quantities. It is almost impossible to resist the monster. The snake can knock the victim down by spitting out an explosive jet of water, felling trees in its path and changing the course of minor tributaries of the river when it crosses them. The natives call this monstrous snake Yakomama, and in Europe they first learned in 1906. After that, how members returned home from the Amazon, the British expedition. Then the scientists also doubted the existence of such snake size, but could the legend will appear in a vacuum? Of course, always remains the probability that the prototype of the mythical the snake was very real anaconda. Its dimensions have been exaggerated due to panic and rumors, but still the probability that the legend was based on serpent is much more bigger than the notorious anaconda. Other proofs of existence can be found online. The answer: she was one of them in the form of a frame was sent to me by my subscriber. Take a look at the picture. As you think it depicts a real snake or fake, write your assumptions in the comments and look further to see other interesting evidence of the existence of Titan. Was snake from Congo? How about snakes in length 15 meters? Can such a monster at all to exist in nature? When this frame appeared in the networks, in the caption it was argued that no editing here, no black and white footage was allegedly made in routine aerial reconnaissance. CIA USA revealed that the pictures there are she made her own story in 1959 year in Africa, over one of the Kong rivers. A certain colonel who was in charge of intelligence asked one of the soldiers to take a photo. A monstrous snake lay down in a hollow. Monster from the river. The author of this photo were able to calculate in incredibly accurate dimensions, focusing on the surrounding the objects and the distance between the photographer and the snake. The length of the body of the monster in the picture was about 35 meters and a width of about 75 centimeters. Black and white. The photo was taken in 1948 year and never ceases to agitate the minds, but as the photographer was able to get so close to the monster, many believe that a giant snake was already dead when her filmed. Have this picture, and the legend according to it, the monster killed the military. The monster fired machines. It took more than 500 shots to neutralize. I don't know, but where the remains of the monster went in this case, the military would hardly have refrained from preserving at least part of the creature as a trophy. But the locals say that there was no question of preserving the carcass. The tropical heat in the region is merciless and any flesh turns to rot in a matter of hours. And again, in Brazil there is no shortage of evidence of the existence of Titanoboa. It seems many the people of this country are willing to believe in something, what an ancient monster is alive. And it's hard not to start to doubt when the network almost every day there are similar shots. Fortunately or unfortunately, the snake in the video, beveled skull and a huge mouth, already dead. Found her in time. Construction works in the south of the country. The words of the workers: snake accidentally raked an excavator with a layer of soil. At first, the builders are scared and almost ran away when it became clear that the snake is dead and raised in the bucket, the excavator, so that everyone could get a closer look. When video, a snake wrapped around a bucket, appeared in online, some began to accuse builders in cruel and disrespectful the treatment of animals. Interested in the law, harsh treatment is effective only in with respect to current or ancient Titanoboa. He also covered Asian monsters have long been accustomed to huge snakes in Southeast Asia, which is considered one of the potential places habitat potentially lived up to our days. The color of the set. In August 2006 years, police rescuers had to catch giant snake that suddenly appeared at one of the restaurants in Bangkok. The following record was discovered in February. Just 6 months on one of the farms in the southern province. The locals are not scared, discovering that a few months lived side by side with a giant boa constrictor, and detection such large specimens near settlements and even in the cities involuntarily suggests, if the 7-meter snake can live with people and remain undetected, the why in the tropical jungle can't dwelling individuals. Even more impressive size snake from the satellite, of course not done in this collection without evidence found by fans of Google Maps. This once in silhouette, the media, and resembling Titanoboa found in quite unexpected location, in a quiet New Zealand harbour. The satellite was able to capture valuable oblong silhouette shallow water, according to enthusiasts. Strange object he found by chance. Considering the footage where once I were on vacation, a man did not expect that the image of Google Maps will happen in society such effect immediately after the update. The monsters in the harbour appeared in local newspapers. Residents coast covered the real panic. However, they can understand, even realizing the figure in the photo may to be underwater rock or accumulation of seaweed is hard to overcome, thinking that with the same success she can be a huge sea monster. Write in the comments